At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
It is time to leave your worries outside and laugh with us inside the Treehouse. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. Today is Tuesday, May 27, 2025. Welcome to Tuesday. Hope you had a wonderful and respectful Memorial Weekend holiday. I'm going to start today's Treehouse show with the opposite of respectable. We're going to start with the Sean Diddy Combs trial. It enters its third week starting today, and it's already been jam-packed full of wild revelations, explosive allegations, most of which we can't even describe on the radio. But there really have been some truly shocking revelations about the man behind Bad Boy Productions. One of the freakiest accusations levied against Diddy is that he likes applesauce on his hamburgers. Lock him up.
Mm-hmm.
Does anything else in this trial really matter? Once you have something that shocking, everything else just kind of falls to the wayside, doesn't it?
I don't know if bad food taste is like, yep, serial rapist.
You know what, though? To me, it's indicative of a larger issue. Because haven't you been around someone where they've made just a really weird choice in front of you? And you thought, okay, that's got to be a bit of a red flag for something larger and more terrifying. This is a great example of that. The next time you see someone doing something really weird and abnormal, just remember that this is what they're willing to show you. The likelihood of them having something way worse is there.
Yeah,
that's part of what I'm taking away out of this.
I mean,
yeah, my ex's father used to do peanut butter and mayonnaise.
There's something wrong with him. Check the yard. Bodies might be buried. I don't know if he's necessarily into the sex trafficking like Diddy's been alleged or any sort of racketeering, but I would start kicking some rocks over in the yard just to be safe.
I have a feeling that at the point you saw Diddy eating applesauce on his hamburger, you've seen him eat and do much freakier things.
By the time dinner rolls around.
Yeah. That would definitely be true if you were already at the freak off. If you've already seen some really weird stuff at a Diddy freak off party, and then the food comes out and you see him dip a cheeseburger in some applesauce, that's probably not going to be the craziest thing. Well, what I'm saying is, if you've never been or seen the freak off and you see a grown man dip a cheeseburger into applesauce, I'm saying you need to be wondering what else is he not sharing with you.
I haven't followed the trial enough, but weren't there signs? I mean, we didn't go from normal to freak off. There had to have been some clues along the way.
That's what I'm saying. At some point, this grown man dipped a hamburger in some applesauce, and that's where my brain is. What I'm saying, we need to pay attention more closely to when people show us who they are, even if they're little hints. But you're right, Trey. I don't know how you go from up-and-coming rapper to sex trafficking allegations and wild, wet freak-off parties.
But you're saying applesauce is the natural progression to violent sexual acts?
No, I'm just saying it's a red flag that we need to pay attention to.
I mean, what if it's to ass?
That's the name of his new album.
Applesauce to ass.
the prison beats volume 1.
Honestly, to me, it would be less shocking to dip ass into applesauce than dipping a hamburger into applesauce.
How big is your tub of applesauce?
I'm just saying, one sounds like a more delightful pairing than the other.
All I know is the duet with R. Kelly is going to be a banger.
From the new track, Piss and Moan.
Go. Just go. Hit the bumper tray. I can't with this Treehouse show anymore.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
833-COOK-DFW. That is the phone number to get your free roof inspection and to get on the Cook list with Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. 833-COOK-DFW, the website cookdfw.com. We got a recent reminder, Daniel, that storm season is no longer one season out of 4. It is year-round in North Texas, and a severe storm can pop up anytime, and that means at any moment you may have some roof damage.
Yeah, Dan, we stopped being springtime storms years ago, and so now, and I try to educate everybody that you shouldn't protect your roof from the storms. You should protect your roof because it's the thing that you need to do where we live. We've all made a conscious decision about living here in Texas, and exactly the DFW Metroplex. We have strong storms, but we also have extreme temperatures. We have extreme winds. We have all kinds of things that our homes take a beating on. So you really need to protect your roof year round because it's the right thing to do for your home. And so it's really easy. You call us out, we come out, we inspect your roof. If you don't need anything, we high five each other. We say, see you next year. If you do, we take some pictures. We take some measurements. We show you what your home needs. It may not be a whole roof. It may be just some small repairs that will extend your roof life. But when you let small things go on your home, they always turn into larger, and that's where it goes downhill really fast. So all you have to do, give us a shout. We'll come out. We'll give you an honest opinion about it, and then you can make a decision.
Love that about you guys. No pressure. Decision is yours. So give them a call. Let them come out and do just that. 833-COOK-DFW. 833-COOK-DFW or the website cookdfw.com.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
This segment of the Treehouse is brought to you by, very fittingly, Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. I know you're wondering, how is the topic of Diddy fitting when talking about a roofing company? Well, Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration wants to make sure all the belongings, including you, inside your home, stay nice and dry. The opposite of a Diddy party. In order to do that, you need a good, solid roof. So you call Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. Get your free roof inspection to make sure everything is in order. 833-COOK-DFW or go to cookdfw.com. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan O'Malley along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. Covering some of the finer details in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking / racketeering trial. Ugh.
Yeah, but to go back to what we were talking about earlier, there were definitely signs, for sure. That how do I phrase this? Freakier things were on the horizon.
Yep.
If you really paid attention to it.
Yeah, because Trey, you said your question earlier was how do you get to that? It can't just be blink and all of a sudden it's these types of parties.
Yeah, I mean that would be odd. Like, hey, so how'd you enjoy your food? You want to come upstairs? There's lots of baby oil. I'm gonna stick with the applesauce. I'm gonna go here. But yeah, there were multiple. There was a director I was watching an interview with him, and he's like, we're hip hop. They say is super misogynistic, and it's supposed to be like, whatever. He's like, if you watch the videos for a number of videos that Puffy and Biggie did, I think there's one with Mace in it as well. But there's transgender dance. What's that?
That's the Hype Williams days.
Oh yeah, that is the Hype Williams days. But there is
the shiny suit Hype Williams days.
well, that's who he was talking about. That's so funny that you mentioned that. He was talking about Hype Williams, and it's like, they're doing the casting, and there were a number of like some of the prostitutes that are in this sex trafficking thing, and then there was one that was like a main dancer, is transgender, and they're like, it's supposed to be homophobic, it's supposed to be this, it's supposed to be that. Why is the lead in all this video that Puffy and Hype are bringing in every single video that they're in transgender? It's like he was basically trying to say it without saying it, like that he's into a lot of different stuff. But
so Diddy parties were wet and woke.
Well, I mean, some people were awake.
Others didn't.
Others not so much. When you have a dancer that comes in called the Punisher, like I'm just saying that was the name of one of the exotic dancers that came in to pleasure Cassie.
I think dancer is a really nice term.
I don't think if your stage name is the Punisher, you're not dancing.
Yeah. But he was paid $2,000 per session with Cassie. And he said that Diddy would just watch and like give direction. He would wear a gimp mask. Like he had like the first one he had his like face covering like in the Middle East where it was just you could see his eyes. And he wasn't supposed to, the Punisher was not supposed to look directly at him. And then the next time it was like a leather mask. And that's it. But keep in mind, that's all Diddy was wearing was a leather mask. As one does.
I mean,
because he didn't want to be identified later.
I mean, there were definitely signs. I mean, Biggie's corpse would have been one of them.
Yeah,
and there was
too much.
And has Mace testified? He's the one I'm so curious about because, he was an up and coming, had a couple hits, and then he disappeared and found God, and he's really never been heard from since.
Oh, I will tell you that one of the best things ever. So the I found God thing, like you could tell, like this is like I need to get out now.
Yeah,
he went to church, and he said this is his testimonial. It's like I had this overwhelming feeling that God was calling me. Like turned around and just gave all of his jewelry to the lady behind him, and then his car to the next person, and then just walked out and started doing televangelism, which nobody bought. So he tried to release an album, and my friend out of LA was one of the people like helping him produce the track, and he released it without it being mastered and like all the filters and everything that goes into it. And he released it on his own, thinking like this would be his comeback. I think I have it somewhere in an email. I think I'll try to share it with you guys. It's hands down the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. It is that bad. But no, he's not going to testify because I think he got out at the right time, like before shipments of baby oil came in. Like I think it was coming in while he was going out.
Well, other people did testify. One of which was rapper Kid Cutie and Cudi. Sorry, I don't follow the rap game as closely as the two of you do. So Kid Cudi testified at the Diddy trial, and he also had a pretty shocking allegation towards Sean Combs, and that was on Christmas Eve of 2011. He says Diddy broke into his house and unwrapped all of his family's Christmas presents.
So not only is he into baby oil, he's also the Grinch.
The wet Grinch.
Damn slippery Grinch.
Can't ever catch him. Too slippery. And that's how he gets down the chimney. Right in the living room.
I mean,
he also,
for a man who's got his car blown up by Diddy, I feel like, having the Christmas presents unwrapped, it really isn't that shocking.
Yeah. I wonder which one happened first. Like, it's like you weren't shocked by the Christmas presents. How about I set your car on fire? To
me, it would be the opposite. I would be more personally offended if you unwrapped all my family's Christmas presents, and as opposed to blowing up my car.
I don't know, Dan. You never buy anybody presents, so like, what are they gonna? Like,
Which is why they're
unwrap
so
nothing.
special. This doesn't happen very often. So you unwrap them. That's really that's a serious attack.
Oh no! Somebody unwrapped the Live 105.3 T-shirt.
Hey, you might get 50, 60 cents for one of those these days.
Yeah, the Molotov cocktail through the Porsche, I think, was more of a signal than I just ruined your Christmas.
No, to me, the unwrapping of the Christmas presents is more personal of an attack.
I guess so. I mean, you guys had Christmas, and like we didn't, we as Hindus didn't really do it. But if we had a Porsche and somebody lit that on fire, you'd see very angry Indian people outside on the lawn.
I just feel like if there was an episode of The Sopranos and Tony's SUV got blown up, or someone broke into his house and unwrapped all the Christmas presents, Tony Soprano's going to be way more pissed off about those Christmas presents than his blown up Escalade.
Oh, you might have a very good.
Because you messed with his family.
Yeah, you might have a very good point.
Yeah,
I can see that. But that's you
were naked and greased up while you were unwrapping the presents.
That's the other downside. Is not only were all the presents unwrapped, now they're all gooey.
He got slimed.
Yeah. Stockings full of what?
Ray.
The Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You're listening to The Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Be sure to join us tonight at 7 p.m. for our monthly-ish Treehouse live stream exclusively for our Ultimate Treehouse subscribers on Patreon. If you want to sign up, go to patreon.com/treehouseonair. That's Patreon, patreon.com/treehouseonair to sign up for Ultimate Treehouse, and we'll see you tonight at 7. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan. That's Trey. He is Raj. Today's Tuesday, May 27, 2025. Some shocking news coming out of South America. Scientists discovered a mysterious sphere in Colombia that has sparked serious UFO speculation. The sphere was spotted March 2nd, flying over the town of Buga, Colombia, before it landed. Researchers are mystified at what it could be, but for all we know, it's a giant alien anal bead. I hope that's not what it is, but it'd be really funny if it was. It looks like it's a silver sphere. They said it weighs about 4.5 pounds. From what I could tell based on photos, it looks about the size of like a volleyball or maybe a basketball. And I'm kind of surprised that this thing was seen flying around in early March, and I'm not hearing about it till the end of May. The orb, like I said, reportedly weighed about 4.5 pounds, was cold to the touch when found, and had etched into it a series of ancient-looking symbols, including runes and characters from the Ogham and Mesopotamian writing systems. Trey, am I saying that right? Ogham, Ogham?
Yeah.
Maybe one will pop up and correct me. Locals claim the object is of alien origin, and even researchers admit they don't know where it came from. The sphere has no welds or joints, which would typically indicate it was made by humans. That's according to one of the researchers, Dr. Jose Luis Velasquez, a radiologist hired to examine the thing. He says it's of artificial origin and that it shows no evidence of welding, and its internal structure is composed of high-density elements. More testing is needed to establish its origin. So we got...
so they couldn't get inside of it?
I don't think so. No, they've... the research team studying it said, we interpret it as a message to humanity, encouraging a collective shift in consciousness to help Mother Earth, blah, 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 blah. They said it was seen zipping through the sky, defying the movement of a traditional aircraft. And no official reports or scientific analyses have yet confirmed the claims that a metallic sphere fell, but multiple eyewitnesses reports have been made. One of the guys who found it, his name's Jose, said he felt sick for days after touching it. He said, I poured water on it, it started to smoke, and the water vaporized instantly. I don't know. It's one of those things that if I saw it in the Weekly World News back in the day, I would immediately dismiss it. But based on everything that keeps happening in recent years and newly declassified documents from the CIA, I'm starting to take all this in just a little bit more than I used to.
This one was interesting because this one really, it's been on every major news source, maybe not front page, but it's not something that just, your outliers are carrying from, it's been on CNN, Fox News, hell, I saw it on People Magazine. I mean, it's, there's something to the story, evidently, because of the rounds it's making.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, legitimate news outlets are commenting and reporting on it. But like you said, they're not exactly throwing it on the front page of the New York Times just yet, but they're including it. Kind of like that, which is exactly how I feel. I'm not saying, yeah, this is proof aliens exist and this is an alien, I don't know, skee ball. But I want to make sure that I say that maybe it is. I don't know. I just can't dismiss this stuff like I used to.
I'm just wondering about like the etchings. It's saying like it had like Mesopotamian Ogum etchings. Like, so does that mean that those writings back then were alien done because this is now on an alien craft, or are they trying to signal us using that language?
Or maybe this is Mesopotamian bocce balls that made, that happened to be around and when Pangea split. I don't know.
That was their bocce ball playground.
It was a really sad day when Pangea split. Oh, there goes the bocce pit.
Well, I just want to see this on in an episode of Ancient Aliens. That's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite shows because it's always like ancient aliens, ancient alien theorists say yes. If this is like from outer space or if this is alien technology, they don't go, no, this is a complete F up. We don't know what happened. So I just want to see them talk about it on Ancient Aliens. I think that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Well, the more and more as if history, we keep going back and back as far as our timeline of humanity and civilizations and where we were, 5,000 BC. Now we're about 10,000 BC that we know humans, had civilizations and, it wasn't just the hunter gatherer things. There were societies, everything else. And then you have the question of how is everything interlinked? Why would something of Mesopotamia be in South America?
Yeah. Let alone flying around.
Why does everyone have the story of the Great Flood?
Yeah. And then like they found like ancient Hindu temples in like forests in Mexico. Yeah. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But yeah, I mean that's so then it goes back to like so if we're not the only people out there, then a lot of the religious texts then would be disproven.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. So I think that scares a lot of people as well.
It does, but I mean, and this is where I try to keep an open mind. I think all things are possible. I'm not discounting one thing, and I'm not, promoting another thing. I'm just kind of sitting back and taking it all in. Especially when they find these random objects like this, whether it's a UFO, it's flying around. We don't know what this stuff is. Let's be truly honest. We really don't know what some of this stuff is. It might be really benign, nonsensical stuff. This ball might just be like a ball bearing joint from an aircraft that fell off. We don't know. It might be absolutely nothing. Or it might be some sphere of knowledge that's sent as a message from another civilization meant to connect with us as a species. Or it could just be a stress ball from an alien culture.
I like your theory of it being a ball bearing from an aircraft. I'm like, no wonder. No, it's got Mesopotamian writing on it. No wonder Boeing jets keep going down.
See, at Boeing, meanwhile, see, not our fault.
Told you we shouldn't
You're
listen to those
in the
aliens.
Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
If you like the Treehouse Show, you will love us on social media. So give us a follow at Treehouse on Air, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. I think we're still on X, Twitter, whatever it is, at Treehouse on Air. Give us a follow on social media. That's at Treehouse on Air. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. In recent years, the Olympics have been adding sports, trying to get new interest in new sports and new things. And I think it was last year, the year before, we first heard about the possibility of flag football being introduced as an Olympic sport. Well, it's happening. In 2028, the Summer Olympics will have flag football. And just the other day, the NFL announced that it is going to allow professional NFL players to participate in 2028 flag football at the Olympics. What's the point of other countries even showing up for this? Unless you just really are good with competing for silver and bronze.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you watch a lot of rugby, but those guys,
I've seen it.
Yeah. So if they're gonna let, I promise you, if they're gonna let professional football players from the U.S. and Canada participate, they're gonna let rugby players participate, and that's a different skill set.
Well,
It really is. Go ahead, Trey. Tell it.
I mean, yeah, if they were playing rugby,
Mhm.
that would be, but it's flag football.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's no tackling.
Yeah, the brute strength of rugby, absolutely. The agility, nah.
I don't know. Some of those guys are really fast, really, really fast, and they're big.
Mhm.
I don't know.
My point is,
I would love to see it.
I would. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There's. Oh, Trey, have your hand up. Go ahead.
Raj, I assure you, if a rugby player could play American football, they would be signing them left, right, and sideways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. They make a lot of money
No.
comparatively. Yeah, like the All Blacks. Like when you get into the higher echelon of teams and the elite athletes, like there's soccer football players that make substantially more money than any NFL player.
Soccer, soccer is a totally different animal.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean,
I'm not talking about. We're talking about rugby.
Yeah, but I mean, they're making. I mean, they're getting paid in the millions and millions and millions of dollars. They're doing just fine where they are.
I'm not saying that the rest of the world doesn't have stellar athletes. They do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to playing American style football in a 7-on-7 type format, which I believe flag football is, I don't care how good you are at rugby. You have not been playing football since the age of like 10, the way some of these kids have in the United States. So it's not athlete. It's not just athlete versus athlete. It's the skill level that's already been honed over years by an NFL player for that specific sport versus a great athlete in a different sport having to make a transition.
Yeah.
There's already systems and strategies and plays and playbooks in place that we are light years ahead of other countries in that sport.
The highest paid rugby player, it makes about 1.5 million.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for where they are, that's a substantial amount of money. But also, if you're going to allow flag football, which we've been playing, I mean, we played that in elementary school, but you're having countries now that are practicing to compete in this sport. So yeah, I mean, we are light years ahead. It's very similar to like the dream teams that we send over to play basketball.
It really is. That's exactly what this is. This will be NFL Dream Team, and no one's going to come close to the United States to compete with them in a flag football game.
But the last Dream Team, there were a couple of games where teams that you wouldn't expect to do well did well. So
And that
it is a catch-up game.
Well,
and it took what 20 years for them to even start.
Sure, like
sniffing?
I said, it is a catch-up game. So I mean, this is one of those very, very. It'll be very biased towards the teams from America, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'll be like, in a lot of ways, it'll be like women's soccer because we were the only country 20, 30 years ago that actually put money into women's soccer because we didn't allow, like, women's sports, especially in high school and college, were very limited. Then all of a sudden other countries started putting a lot of money and resources towards women's soccer. Now it's a much more equal playing field.
Sure.
But the one thing I will say is, of all the NFL players, and I mean, we're going to exclude the linemen because, well, but you're going to have an U.S. Olympic team. Then you're going to have all these other countries, all the guys that didn't make it. All of a sudden, they're going to be Italian and Czechoslovakian.
Representing Czechoslovakia, Dontrez Williams.
Yeah. I am 1/16 Slovakian.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You can get even more Treehouse when you subscribe to Treehouse Plus. With Treehouse Plus, you get bonus content and subscriber-only episodes, including video, and it's all available at patreon.com/treehouseonair. That's Patreon, patreon.com/treehouseonair, and subscribe to Treehouse Plus today. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan O'Malley. He's Trey Trenholm. That is Raj Sharma. Let's celebrate today. It is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. So let's celebrate with some birthdays. Trey, can you give me the noise? I need the noise. I need to feel the noise. Ah, that's the stuff. There we go. All right. Turning 26 today. Johnny Depp's kid, Lily Rose Depp. She is 26 today. Her acting credits already include 2 Kevin Smith movies, Yoga Hosers and Tusk. Not sure what else she's done recently, but there's a couple for you. From Superstore, he played Jonah. Ben Feldman is 45. From Shameless, Shanola Hampton is 48, played Veronica Fisher. Andre 3000 from Outkast turns 50 today. Happy birthday to Andre. If you see him at Whole Foods in Dallas, say hi. Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany is a phenomenal actor. He is 54 today. He's Vision in the Avengers MCU films, Jarvis in all the Iron Man movies, Dryden Voss in Solo, a Star Wars story. He's one of those guys that's been in tons of movies. I can't even begin to name them all. But if we're being honest, one of his greatest accomplishments is and always will be that he's married to Jennifer Connelly.
Yay.
Who also played the voice in Spider-Man's suit in Homecoming.
Oh, okay.
Not Paul. Jennifer Connelly did. Yeah. So it's a Marvel household. Other birthdays today. Joseph Fiennes is 55. If you are a fan of The Handmaid's Tale, which my wife and I are, he played Commander Waterford on The Handmaid's Tale. Joseph Fiennes is 55 today. Are you guys Handmaid's Tale watchers? It's in its final season right now.
I tried. I just this is too weird. Can't do it. I think it was like 3 episodes, and then I was like, I'm out.
Too weird? A government telling women what they can and can't do?
I kind of walked in. I think Claire was watching it, and I kind of walked in when they were like assisting in the baby making.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna make dinner. I'm good. I'm out.
I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of stories, books, movies, television that is world building, which is kind of what this is. Whether it's like a Star Wars or the Lord of the Rings stuff, you have to be so creative to build an entire world. The Hunger Games is like this, and same thing with Handmaid's Tale. It's almost like a separate dimension. United States gets into civil war, and this autocratic religious civil war breaks out and the religious people win, and they completely change the country and make it all religious based, which is something, by the way, that happens and has happened with humanity since the dawn of humanity. Doing things in the name of religion. So to me, it's fascinating in how they structure the society of this show, while at the same time being really horrific. But they say, well, it's what God wants, and so they get away with it.
Yeah. Can't do it.
Definitely not a family show. But
No.
Joseph Hines, 55 today. Todd Bridges from Different Strokes. Speaking of family shows, Todd Bridges is 60 today.
Wow. I think he's the only one still alive, right?
And not the one we would have chosen, if we're being honest.
You're going to take Gary Coleman? Which one do you want?
Dana Plato.
Yep. She was gone too soon. I would have liked to have seen what else she could have accomplished.
Okay.
Or just to see what Mr. Drummond would look like in 2025.
Dead. He looked dead then.
I still loved your theory on that, though, Raj, of Different Strokes. We talked about it last week about the how Different Strokes actually started, and we're being honest, it's kind of illegal.
Yeah, watch the opening. The limo pulls up onto the basketball court, and he just literally takes two black kids home. It's a rich white guy shows up in a limo and goes, mine.
And it really does speak to our society and to its ills when a white man can pull up in a limo and steal two black children from an inner city basketball court, and not one police officer is called.
Yeah, they called it Different Strokes. It could have also been called White Savior. I
think that was in the Criterion Collection.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
If you miss any part of the Treehouse Show right here on 103.5 The X, you can catch up with the Treehouse Show podcast. The Treehouse Show podcast available on all major streaming platforms like Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's the Treehouse Show podcast available everywhere podcasts are downloadable. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. I have an idea on how we can take two of our last topics and put them together. Before we get to that, though, it is Tuesday, which means it is time for Treehouse Talkback.
Why do they ask you if you're going to have a visitor when you go to a hotel?
If that sounds familiar, that's because this gentleman asked us that question last week in Treehouse Talkback. But our dear friend Linda had a response for him. That's why he makes an appearance here.
Hey guys, it's Linda. Can I do a talkback to a talkback? So anyway, I'm going to. I was staying at a particular dive hotel off of Skillman, and I had an ex-boyfriend who was dropping off my stuff, and he's all like, "Oh, can I stay? Can I stay?" And it's like, nah, you know how it goes. Anyway, at about 5 p.m., manager comes knocking on the door and says, "You have an unregistered car here. He's got to go." How the manager knew that car belonged to my ex, I don't know. But, he probably saved me a night of regret, so I'm okay with it. Anyway, talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Proof that not all heroes wear capes. Sometimes they're motel managers.
Well, I also think it's to avoid any uncomfortable situations that if you have someone coming to your room that maybe you want to have is discreet.
Yes. And maybe he's been there before, so that's how they knew his car.
Oh, he's back.
Damn, Doug. Dropping off stuff again there, Doug. Gotcha.
Another ex-girlfriend. Okay. Your last ex-girlfriend just checked out yesterday. Okay, so here's how I think we can take the last two topics and bring them together. The last two topics were the NFL saying it's going to allow NFL players to participate in flag football at the Olympics in 2028. The other last topic we had was different strokes and how Mr. Drummond basically kidnapped two black children from a basketball court. Yes, Trey?
Oh, we could tie this in another way too.
Well, hang on to that.
Okay.
This is probably how other countries are going to compete in flag football in the Olympics in 2028. This is how other countries are going to be able to compete against the United States. They're going to have to go in a limo and kidnap our athletes and take them back to their country, falsify their papers in some type of way to see if they can put together a team that could compete with NFL players. The other way is maybe that's what Mr. Drummond was doing the entire time on Different Strokes. He was the original Blindside.
I was going more. I think he could go. Let me give you a different spin.
Please.
Tied into another story with Diddy is that for an extra, like a 10-point play, you have the puffy after touchdown where you have a greased pig, like you oil one of the players down and see if anyone can tackle them. One person on the whole team, see if they get through. If they get through, it's like 10 points.
Wow.
And if it's going to be people kidnapping, falsifying documents, and age, China's going to win. Are you sure that player is Chinese? The black guy with the beard? He's 16.
Well, let's not rule out the Dominican because they've been doing it with baseball players for years.
Talk about having the playbook. All right. For all things Treehouse, be sure to hit up treehouseonair.com. Find us on social media as well at Treehouse On Air. For me, it's at the Dan O'Malley. For Trey, it's at Trey Trenholm 1. And for Raj, it's at Comedian Raj. We'll see you back in here tomorrow, right here inside the Treehouse.